William Edward Pithers' terrible murder at 10 Merton Street, Nelson, Lancashire. At 10 Merton Street, Nelson, Lancashire, about the 15th of February 1987, there was a terrible murder of a bachelor, William Edward Pither. I am not right sure the date is just right, but it's near enough. William Edward Pither, known as Edward. Edwards's murder was terrible. He was a good friend of mine. He did not deserve this. He was a nice, gentle kind of man. He would not hurt anyone, not even a fly. Edward worked at William Reed's mill on Every Street, Nelson, for years. I think he was a cloth looker. I may be wrong, not sure. When I knew him, he lived with a lady we all called Aunt Emmy. It could have been his mum or auntie, not sure of this. Edward had an allotment down Lancashire where he grew everything. As kids we went down and nicked rhubarb and strawberries. I remember on Saturday night about 10:30 p.m. we stood in the back street looking at shooting stars. It was said our Edward was a bit of a lad. At night, when some of the local husbands went on night work, Edward would go around and keep their wives company. Whether this is true I would not know. People who lived in the area in the 1950s and early 1960s. 20 Milton Street was the Jays. 22 Milton Street was the Emotts. 2 Merton Street was the Stories. 4 or 6 Merton Street was the Inghams. 6 or 4 Merton Street I cannot remember. 8 Merton Street was the Pithers and the Brays. 10 was Auntie Emmy and Edward Pither. 12 was the Edingtons. 14 was the Greenwoods or Greens, not sure. Right opposite Edwards's house was the Rose. As I can remember, the house was in Pendle Street. At the bottom of that row were the Smiths in Conduit Street. And further up Pendle Street in the same row was Teresa Green's. At the top of the row in Pendle Street was a small shop owned by the Greenwoods across from a fish and chip shop. Now Edward Pither was related to the Brays. Mrs. Bray was a Pither before she was married. The Lockwoods in Pendle Street was also related to Edward too. I think Mrs. Lockwood was a Pither too before she was married too. The people who murder William Edward Pither did not get a long enough sentence. It's a pity we did not still have hanging in them days. They would have deserved it. Rest in peace, William Edward Pither.